But the reality is something else. So it's back to what J. Edgar Hoover said, will prevent the rise of a true black messiah, someone who can galvanize, organize, and motivate the black youth, and to bring the masses together, to be more militant, to overthrow us. Those are the same words that was in the Bible. Pharaoh, the same concepts. Come, let us deal with them wisely. Unless one from among them will raise the other ones up, and one will be born, to overthrow us. That was a concept back in ancient days. So these people now know this, so they give us a Barack Obama. And it's cute when he walks out there, waves, and it's like that's all we want. Long as he waves, long as he dances, long as he sings an Al Green song, long as we know he play basketball, long as he invites one of the Jay-Z, right? He got the reason.
Does he play basketball?
As long as the masses, mostly black, who are not really politicized, as long as we see that foolishness will remain. Again, this stuff happens in generations. They knew what they were doing after King. They worked it. I mean, it was part of the plan. How can we create this in another 20, 30, 40 years when these people will, in a lot of ways, outnumber some of the areas that we're going to need?
But I wanted to go ahead. I wanted to jump in here, as far as going forward, because the whole point of this panel is to talk about forward directions. So how do we engage others? I mean, looking at this group, there's about probably maybe not even 20 of us in here. And Daryl kind of alluded to this earlier, talking about how we attend, parties and celebrations, but we don't really attend forums to talk about how to improve our communities in large numbers. How do we engage others, in the tradition of Dr. King, to get involved and try to make a difference in their own communities on a local level, and not just talk about President Obama or one individual leader, but talk about what's happening on a local level?
Well,
how do you do that?
I mean, for me, by looking at the Tea Party.
Okay.
You're looking at how Occupy, and how the Tea Party galvanized people from middle class areas, predominantly white, conservative, and came out of nowhere. And what did they care about? Money, the almighty dollar, and taxes. And they rose up, and they protested, they marched, they went in front of the State House, city council meetings, they went to Washington. I mean, they galvanized, they touched on an issue that what people are concerned about, even with the Occupy movement, money and finances.
Okay.
And people are concerned about their finances, about their health care. Now, we have to be concerned. There's some issues that as African Americans or poor people, working poor, there's certain things that we need to be concerned about that we're not, that we can galvanize. I just don't understand why we don't try to shut down prisons. Every African American in the city is affected by, they know someone in the prison, whether their son, grandson, grandchild, aunt, nephew, cousins. I just don't understand that whole situation, why people, when they get out of jail, they can't get jobs. Why we don't try to shut those businesses down who don't give individuals jobs.
And that's the very question I'm asking. How do we engage people to talk about things?
Preaching truth to power.
I agree with Daryl in part. I agree. I also agree with going to city council and challenging and addressing them, but I'll let Brother Divine elaborate on that. He could elaborate on that further. However, it doesn't stop there. You have to do everything that you can. Brother Ali Divine over here, he has the Rising Sons Elevated Daughters Youth Program, where we go into the Catholic schools, the middle and the high school, and we speak to black children who are in detention or have failing grades. And we speak some sense to them because 9 out of 10 of the time, they don't have a father in their life. So we try to bring that energy to them. You understand? And the other thing that we can do is Baye Kemet, of the principal of the Garvey School, which is an all-black, pro-African school, we can get more black parents to enroll their children in that school. You know what I'm saying? Brother Wise Intelligent has what he calls the Intelligent Seeds, is training young black children in the media realm to promote the truth about what's going on in our urban reality. And there's a lot of things that we can do, but we can't just, as Divine always says, I can't do it all, but I can do some of it all. Do everything that you can. Make it a lifetime commitment. Every day. What can you fit in within a 24-hour frame? What can you do in every hour, in every minute? Even though we got jobs, even though we have responsibilities, even though we have a family to take care of, even though a lot of us are scared to step outside because of the crime and the violence and the gangs and all that. What can we do to make the most about our lives, to contribute to the community? And a lot of times we get a Michael Jordan, great basketball player, billions of dollars, millions of dollars I should say, but does not contribute to the urban community. And if he does, it's not a tangible contribution because we don't see the difference. Jay-Z, same thing. He says East Trenton in his album one time, and that's all we get. And he lived at Miller Homes. We need more than that. We need a lot more. We need a lifetime commitment. And those who put a lifetime commitment, you look in the Trentonian, a lot of times their voice is absent when it comes to us, who do try to do something about it. And that has to be challenged as well. But we're not gonna win all these battles as far as the opposition that we face to do the work. We just need to get more people on track with what we're doing and galvanize. And this forum right here is a perfect example of what we need every week,
Right.
if not every day,
Right.
to get us mentally at the starting point, mentally engaged into trying to do something that is tangible, positive, and evident as far as affecting change in our community.
What's that?
And it's not going to look like the 60s.
Nah.
I mean, I would love, we should have hundreds. And that's beautiful. Sometimes I think about that, when only one person show up, but that one can be the one that affects, the others that we can't reach. It's not going to look like those meetings that we see on PBS. A lot of those DV. I know you're right. I agree. I agree. Yes, but we're not. But again, you're talking about when you talk about the Arab Spring, and when you talk about the Occupy movement and how it was developed. Even when you talk about the Tea Party, each one of those movements were started by people who have a clear understanding of their individualized culture. Black people don't have an understanding of our culture. To us, our culture is like, if I got a nice house, if I got a nice car, yeah, I'll go to a meeting every now and then. I'll wear some black for Black History Month. Our culture is, it's sporadic. It's splatter thought. It's a piece from here, a piece from there. And, we get these little surprise moments, man. If we really understood our culture, we wouldn't, I'm not saying don't support those other movements, but we wouldn't want to be that. I got to give the example. He brought up my big brother Baye from the Garvey School. If we were all, rabbits in this room, and our sole purpose is to survive because rabbits are small, animals, and they're considered prey to lions, tigers, and bears. But the society is ran by lions, tigers, and bears. Why would we teach our children, why would we tell our children to go to a school that's being taught by lions, tigers, and bears? And then once the children come home, we're okay with our child who's a rabbit saying, "Mommy, I want to be like the bears." And our mom is like, "Oh, it's okay, it's okay, just be like everybody." When that begins to happen, we lose.
Chinese people don't do that.
Nobody else does that but black people. Nobody. Because we're lost. And that's